Honestly, most metaphors never really landed for me. You know, the mirror analogy or the empty void, they just didn't click. But out of all of them, there was one that struck me deep in the heart. It was the story of the fish in water. The fish, swimming deep in the ocean, frantically asking, "Where is the water?" That story hit me like a ton of bricks, because I was that fish. Conceptually, I thought I understood. I knew in my head, we are all living in the truth, just as we live in the air. But it was just an idea. In reality, I was living in the truth, yet desperately searching for it. It felt exactly like that fish swimming through the water, yet exhausting itself looking for water. It felt like my own story. But then I broke through. Once this opened up, everything was resolved, and the answer was so simple. There is only water. The water I was desperately seeking. It was the very water I had been swimming in since the day I was born. Even when I was running around trying to find it, I was in it. And now that I say I don't need to find it anymore, I am still in it. It was just always water. Looking back, it seems so foolish, truly foolish. I spent so much time rushing here and there, trying this practice and that method, all while swimming right in the middle of what I was looking for. But now that search is over. For me, it is done. So my problem is solved. But here's the thing, we don't live alone. Suddenly I started seeing the people around me clearly, my family, friends, and especially those genuine seekers who are still thirsty, still hunting for enlightenment in mountains or through complex practices. My heart went out to them. So I tried to share this, I tried to speak to them casually, but it fell on deaf ears. It didn't penetrate at all, they just couldn't hear it. Some are lost in their spiritual techniques, and the vast majority are just lost in survival, chasing money, eating, living. And suddenly, a new burden came rushing in on me. Now that I see this, what am I supposed to do about them? I don't know why, but I felt this heavy responsibility crashing down on me, like I have to save them. It was suffocating because I didn't know how. I remember a family gathering for an ancestral rite. There was a folding screen set up behind the altar, and the Heart Sutra was beautifully calligraphed on it. Throughout the ceremony, my eyes were glued to those words. But the problem was, I wasn't just reading. I was staring at my brothers, judging them. Look at them, bowing in front of the profound truth, yet they don't understand a single word of it. Do they even know what they are bowing to? I was so arrogant. Truly, it made me uncomfortable inside. But here's the irony. I was the one in conflict, not them. To my family, the screen was just a screen. Whether it had the Heart Sutra or just Chinese characters, it didn't matter. They were peaceful. I was the only one suffering because a little knowledge is a dangerous disease. This conflict became a riddle I couldn't solve. It was a knot in my heart, and then, one day, snap. It just flipped over. The knot untied itself, and all I could do was laugh. Why did I laugh? Because a ridiculous image popped into my head. Imagine an aquarium full of fish swimming around. Looking at that tank, is there anyone who can distinguish the enlightened fish from the ignorant fish? Of course not. But that's exactly what I had been doing. I was swimming around, sticking invisible labels on every fish I met. You are an enlightened fish. You are an ignorant fish. You are a spiritual seeker fish. You are a money-chasing fish. I had been living in a delusion of my own making. That's when the words of the Buddha in the Diamond Sutra finally hit home. He said, I lead all beings to nirvana, yet when I look, not a single being has been led to nirvana. Before I only understood the first half, the saving part, because I felt I had been saved. But the second half, that no one was saved, that was a mystery. Why? Because to my eyes the world was full of people who needed saving. But now the labels were gone. The deluded beings I was trying to save were never separate from the truth in the first place. I didn't realize it at the time, but I was holding on to the Dharma. I was clinging to the truth as if it were a possession. Later, I went to a retreat with my teacher. For 3 days, from the first hour to the last, I was metaphorically beaten to a pulp. It felt like being stripped naked and whipped. Why? Because I was using the Dharma as a weapon. I was using my enlightenment to judge the world, to fix others. I was holding on to the idea of truth to divide the world into this and that. It's a breathtaking paradox. Even though there is no enlightenment to grasp, you must grasp it. Even though there is no Dharma to attain and no study to finish, you must finish it. You cannot just say, oh, there is nothing to do. We are all Buddhas anyway, and stop there. No, even though there is nothing to gain, you must confirm that fact with your own eyes.